Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here today. This is the info session for Lab to Market Validate Alberta. We're recording today's session, so if you prefer to have your cameras off, that's okay. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We will also have a Q&A at the end. So today's session is about the Validate program delivered by the University of Alberta. This is a pan-provincial program, so research teams from any post-secondary in Alberta are eligible. If you're out of province, you're certainly welcome to attend today's session, but eligibility will be limited to applicants from Alberta post-secondary institutions. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement for Treaty 6 and Treaty 7 territory to acknowledge the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. In our time together, I will give an overview of Lab to Market and the Validate program, and then we will cover the application process and best practices, as well as the MyTax process. We'll have a Q&A at the end, but feel free to ask questions in the chat. Let's start with some introductions from the program team. So my name is Claire Kay, and I'm the Lab to Market Alberta Program Manager based at the University of Alberta. There will be a new program manager starting on August 1st, Emily Rodriguez, and she will take over from me. Aiden and Luke, would you like to introduce yourselves? Zamina's out of office, so Aiden.
Thank you, Claire. And good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Aidan Mukhtarli. I am the Program and Events Coordinator for the Innovation and Partnerships team, Office of the Vice President, Research and Innovation. As Innovation and Partnerships team, we're supporting the graduate students at the University of Alberta with their commercialization efforts through various government-funded programs such as ICG, 5G Living Lab, as well as Lab to Market, with pathfinding as well as with supporting the community with problem solving through AWS backboards, meetings, hackathons, workshops, etc. As events coordinator, I am responsible for supporting the internal as well as the external community events. And as program coordinator, I am providing the logistical support for the Lab to Market program, which we're going to talk about at length in a few minutes. Thank you.
My intro is a lot shorter. I'm Luke Roberts. I'm the entrepreneurial strategist at the University of Lethbridge, a background in founding and startups. And so anything that the University of Lethbridge has that goes from undergrad to graduate students to faculty, helping them commercialize their research, learn about entrepreneurship, navigate the innovation ecosystem. I handle all of that down here. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thanks a lot, Luke and Aiden. Also on the call, we have Annie Hung, Senior Advisor with Calgary, with MyTax at the University of Calgary. Annie, would you like to come off mute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Claire. Hi, everyone. I'm Annie Huang. So I'm based in Calgary. I do primarily work with the University of Calgary on their MyTax applications. But if you do work in the other parts of Alberta, I have other colleagues around the province who can also help with your application as well.
Thanks for being here, Annie, and thanks for all your help with the MyTax applications. It's so appreciated. Okay, I'd like to start by outlining why Lab to Market exists. So for the past 2 decades, Canada has been lagging other countries for research commercialization performance. This graph shows a gap in a specific metric known as BERD, which is Business Enterprise R&D Spending. As you can see, Canada's rank among OECD countries has been declining. So Lab to Market is a research commercialization program designed to address this problem. The opportunity that we see is our outstanding public research infrastructure and personnel, and how emerging innovation can be developed into commercial applications that will benefit our economy. Lab to Market is a national network supported by the Government of Canada with 33 post-secondary institutions across the country that have partnered to deliver a suite of programs. Here in Alberta, the hub is led by the University of Alberta with Innovate Calgary and University of Lethbridge as delivery partners. We've delivered 2 Validate cohorts so far, with the 3rd to run over the fall term, and we're currently recruiting for the 4th cohort to run over the winter term. If you become part of Lab to Market Alberta, you are not only part of that specific cohort, but you get access to this broad ecosystem. As mentioned, funding support for Lab to Market is provided by the Government of Canada, and stipends are supported in part by MyTax. Here in Alberta, we are also funded by Prairies Can and Alberta Innovates. and this funding is associated with economic development objectives for Alberta. And the mandate of Lab to Market is to empower you, the researchers, to bring your innovative technologies to the world. It's our belief that you, the researchers, have this deep technical expertise and knowledge of your innovation, and that you are the ones that are capable of taking this to market. That with a growth mindset, an entrepreneurial drive, and a support network, you can learn both sides. You already have the technology and you can learn the business. So we want to empower you to bring your innovative technologies to the world. This is a screenshot of the website that I'm sure you will all recognize. I wanted to highlight that although today's session is about the Validate program, there's actually a suite of programs offered by Lab to Market designed to support researchers at every stage of the entrepreneurial journey. The earliest program, Discover, is around discovering entrepreneurship and is essentially an introduction to business concepts. The Lab to Market National Program is currently accepting applications for the Fall Discover cohort, and the application deadline is August 8th. Discover is a time commitment of 3 hours per week over 10 weeks. So I encourage you to apply and participate in this introductory program, as it will set you up for success in Validate. So let's talk about Validate. It's a 4-month program to do extensive market research, essentially to step away from the lab to engage with your theorized customers and other stakeholders in your ecosystem to find out if the technology that you're working on actually has commercial potential and a market. The core of the program is customer discovery, which is essentially interviews, so not surveys, to gain insight into the customer's perspective. So by talking to them, you're going to discover things that you haven't already thought of. And this is associated with a stipend of $10,000. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. To be successful here, you need to be ready to step out of your comfort zone, to get out of the lab and seek new insight. The program creates an amazing opportunity, and it's really up to participants to make the most of it. So how do we help researchers become entrepreneurs? The framework that we like to use is to look at 3 areas of risk that you need to assess and mitigate throughout your journey. Number 1 is market risk. Are there enough individuals or companies out there, your theorized customers, that have a severe enough problem that can be addressed with your proposed product or service? And would they be wanting to switch from what they're currently doing to solve that problem to pay for your solution? Number 2 is product risk. Is it technologically feasible to build what your customers want and to sell it at a price that the market will bear and that earns you a profit? Third is execution risk, to take your product all the way to market. This may come as no surprise, but there are numerous ways that startups can fail. The biggest one, time and time again, is building things that nobody wants. This happens when startups just assume that what they are building has customers and is solving a customer's problem, but they've actually never engaged with those individuals or companies before. This is extremely risky. So that's where Lab to Market Validate comes into play. What we're going to do is help you assess and minimize market risk. That's the first one I mentioned, by ensuring that there are individuals and companies out there that have the problem that you can solve. And in doing this, you are going to get information to chip away at product and execution risk. It all feeds into a go, no-go decision that will help inform whether you choose to continue down this road toward commercialization or pause and possibly stop, and with those skills, pursue other ideas or avenues. So we provide a framework and resources to support participants, and this includes, number 1, we have a world-class curriculum. We've spent 5 years refining a program that was inspired by the NSF I-Corps program in the US, and that has been immensely successful. We've adapted this curriculum to the Canadian economy, and it's delivered by practitioners that we hire, people who have been there and done it themselves. For funding, participants get a stipend of $10,000 to invest their time towards these market research efforts over 4 months. This allows you to focus, to figure out key questions like, who are your initial target customers? What do they value? How will you sell them your product or service? Third, participants get matched to a mentor from the innovation community who can act as a sounding board for your insights and challenges as you work through your customer discovery journey. And another significant offering is the network. You will be part of a tight-knit cohort that you get to lean on and learn from, and you are also joining a much larger network. And within this rich environment, the participants are expected to commit themselves fully to the process and work diligently to meet program expectations. And now we'll get into the details for the Validate program that will run over the winter term. So there are two main eligibility criteria. Only researchers at Alberta post-secondary institutions will be eligible, and applications must be submitted by a team comprising a grad student or postdoc, termed the entrepreneurial lead, and a principal investigator, termed the technical lead. At the time of program delivery, i.e. the winter term, the main applicant must be enrolled as a grad student or have a postdoc position and cannot be an undergrad, a recent grad, or research associate. And this aligns with eligibility for the MyTax stipend. The project must be based on research conducted by the entrepreneurial lead and funded through the technical leads lab. So this is research, at the post-secondary. Applications submitted without a principal investigator will not be considered. As we evaluate applicants, we are looking for entrepreneurial leads that have a growth mindset, entrepreneurial drive, and that have the support of their academic supervisor or principal investigator, and ideally a much broader network. Entrepreneurship requires thinking differently than in academia. We introduce a lot of new concepts and principles, and participants need to be able to integrate these and develop new skill sets rather than persevering with the same approaches. So a growth mindset is essential. We also look for entrepreneurial drive because this passion and motivation is what enables you to overcome the hurdles to achieve objectives. The program requires a lot of hustle and hard work, and it has to come from within. Finally, it's essential to have the support of your academic supervisor. You will apply as a team, and if you get selected, the MyTax award is paid through their research account, and you will need their help and support as you step away from lab responsibilities. The program delivery breaks down into the pre-program that sets participants up for success, the intensive core program, and then the post-program for data analysis and next steps, and all sessions are delivered virtually. We will accept 20 teams, and there will be 3 facilitators that we engage to deliver the curriculum and provide small group and individual guidance. I'm just going to stop for some water. The pre-program will run in January and will involve a number of workshops. The sessions will cover topics such as introduction to the business model canvas, market research best practices, as well as interview workshops to ensure that participants are ready for the core program. The core program is an intensive 2-month customer discovery period where participants dedicate themselves full-time to conducting customer discovery interviews and compiling their insights. This means talking to customers and other stakeholders to test key assumptions in the business model. Support is provided in the form of lecture sessions, Scrum discussions, and one-on-one mentorship. The post-program is about analyzing the data collected in the customer discovery stage and coming to a decision about next steps in the entrepreneurial journey. The post-program includes a next steps workshop where we invite speakers from the innovation community with programs supporting entrepreneurship, as well as final presentations by the participants about their decisions and lessons learned. There are 2 program deliverables, which are the data compiled from the customer discovery interviews and a path forward for the project, which could be company creation, continuing market research, a license to industry, or continuing in academia. All are valid outcomes provided they are evidence-based. I know I'm moving through this pretty fast. Aiden, do we have any questions we want to address here? No, there's one.
There isn't. There isn't. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Just occurred to me. I'm not engaging. I'm just delivering. Okay. So for those of you that are based at the U of A, On August 14th, we will host an in-person Lab to Market meetup. So we encourage all